going root for root. It is Creature.
And the bottom right in the red. He is the vengeful one for the cranky ducklings. Give him a great big quack. It's Vindicta.
I can't believe no one started the Mighty Ducks chant during a Vindicta cast now. Like quack, 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 quack. Just like going at it and just.
I mean, you've started this now, by the way. You know this is going to happen.
Oh, I know. For like just a minute and a half straight until, you know, Disney hits us with the copyright. I don't even know if they own the Mighty Ducks at this point, but I feel like either them or Nintendo would send us a cease and desist.
No, they do. They actually, I think they made a new Mighty Ducks movie on Disney Plus.
Oh, wow. How terrible was it?
I haven't seen it. I just heard about it.
I'm
assuming like all of those. I mean, I know the original Mighty Ducks movie was a live action movie, but like all the Disney remakes and live action stuff has pretty much uniformly been not all that great. So I don't have too high hopes.
Yeah, we like to call those ones nostalgia stompers.
Oh yeah.
Where they just kind of take your soul. You know, I'm in my 30s. You're a fair bit younger, but you've been around for those, you know, those 90s and early 2000s cartoons and movies, and it was a real vibe, kind of 90s kids, so to speak. It kind of works with the boomer mentality of StarCraft 2, having been around for a while. There's been a lot of our favorite media, I think, that has kind of been destroyed during that time.
Yeah, brutally abused. But Steadfast, the game's starting, so I think we need to get down to business.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's no way we can turn Defeat the Huns into talking about StarCraft that I'm aware of, but we need to get down to business here. Talk about this game. Stargate play from Creature against Vindicta. How do you feel about that?
To defeat the Bjorns?
Bjorn's not playing this game.
Yeah, I know, but like he's a Terran player. It's the closest we're gonna get, and it does rhyme. You know, it's pretty decent there. To answer your question, how do I feel about this? I mean, Stargate play, as long as you're playing against anyone whose name is not Gabriel Sagat or, well, the aforementioned Bjorn, I think it's a good way to play. I think against those two players, it feels almost like a liability at this point. He's gotten so good at punishing. But Vindicta, I don't think he's got that, you know, that big Gabe push potential as much.
Oh, no, I mean, okay, so Vindicta has some interesting big Gabe style pushes. Some big committed 3-1-1s, early things. Oh, this Widowmine placement is fantastic. And the Phoenix just runs home now. Please run over the other one. I just need it. I need it, but I don't think it's going to happen. Vindicta, though, as much as we talk about, so Gabe is the best Terran player in the world in the first 8 minutes in TVP. And I will agree with that. We saw the performances as Reaper Falls. I'm not saying Vindicta is the best Terran player in the world post 10 minutes, because he's not. But that is far more where his comfort is. He likes to take these games late. He likes to wedge himself in there. In fact, he's gotten in trouble moving himself to the late game a little bit too early. But for this game, there is the aggression on the map. By getting his factory quickly, by getting that second gas quickly, he does delay his command center. It's now only just now going on the low ground. And it does maybe unlock a push, as we see the medevac halfway done, Cyclone on the way. Is this just what the meta has turned into? There's a Viking, there are Marines, the Cyclones, Widowmines. Is that just where we, like, I get it's Moondance. Is that, I guess, what we're seeing here?
Well, we do see the very quick second and third barracks, so it's not going to be just a dedicated push to this. But yeah, when you see Phoenixes, I mean, there's a reason that we call it the Big Gabe push. There's a reason that, you know, we talk about Big Gabe so much. He really does dictate the meta for a lot of Terran players. He is just so outstanding with the early game micro. Now, we do have a shield battery here. Ooh, nice quick lift on the Widowmine. And already a small little difference right here between, you know, Hero Marine and Vindicta. Hero Marine never leaves those little units hanging. Vindicta left it just a little bit hanging. Creature gets the punish, and that's a lot of the value of this push. having gone down. One of those factory units. Oh, but he will get a nice Widowmine hit right there. Oh, Creature's got to be careful. There's another Widowmine here.
Oh, looks like he's going back, though. I'm actually very surprised the Widowmine didn't kill that one Phoenix that was already low from a shot earlier. But just barely on the splash radius, so it is okay. But it does mean that these two Phoenix, you do not want to lead with them as you go Widowmine. It's actually not. This Phoenix flock has eaten 3 Widowmines, and not a single one has died.
And and if any of them had taken the supplemental splash damage, they would have. Now they are just setting up for. Okay, so we're gonna go to baseball here. What we just saw right there is we saw a single. And then we saw another single, and then we saw another single, and now we're setting up. We got the bases loaded with these 3 low HP Phoenixes, and we need that one Widowmine that comes in and hits the Grand Slam.
Okay, so which Widowmine? I guess that Widowmine in this analogy is going to be Aaron Judge then.
It's going to be Aaron Judge, yeah. It's no, it's going to be Albert Pujols. Albert Pujols, he's been popping off. It's an analogy that falls super flat, but I'm glad you were able to pick it up and run with it.
I mean, hey, it's not every day that someone sets a record like the record of bad analogies that we've made in this broadcast thus far.
There we go. We almost turned into a baseball broadcast there if you'd continued with it. We should talk about what is happening, by the way. It is Phoenix Charge Lock, and against this, Widowmine heavy marine play is going to be very powerful. We already have stim, we already have combat shields, we already have +1. We've got a decent number of medevacs. There is still a few Widowmines just with this army, and he's building more. Colossus transition is not out yet. Oh, Widowmine will burrow on up. Can we see that big Widowmine shot?
I actually don't like Vindicta moving on the map right now. I mean, he has to because his third base only is now getting started. As Creature takes his 4th, Vindicta scans the backside, realizing, ooh, money is a problem. But
ooh, intentional walk.
Sorry?
Intentional walk to bait out the Widowmine.
Yeah. Sorry. I'm like, intentional, like lock on, like the Cyclone didn't. What am I missing there? But with this Phoenix Charge Lot style, that army is designed to deal with the army that Vindicta has right now. It runs in, Zealots attack, it's great, Phoenix lift everything. And Creature is moving to Colossus. He's going to have Colossus out very quickly in this setup. So as he's up money, he's equal or higher in army supply. I don't know that Vindicta is going to be able to break this, but also I don't know that what he's supposed to do if he just kind of sits back and defends. It feels like this opening and how ineffective it has been thus far, because like, I think in part the Widowmines haven't killed anything.
He got another
haven't killed anything. Vindicta just put himself tremendously far behind in this game, just really from the macro build orders.
This is not looking comfy for him at all. It's 6 Widowmines and a Reaper going down for 1 Observer. You gotta hand it to Creature. He's done a great job of, even though he's eaten those Widowmine shots, he's never had his Phoenix super clumped up. A lot of it is kind of luck. Now, granted, actually, I don't think the Phoenixes would die with the splash damage, just to the splash damage. But if there was 2 Widowmine shots that hit on the clump of Phoenixes, it would be like 5 Phoenixes going down at once. You have no idea how emotionally invested I am in this, by the way. Like, I don't want to root for one player or the other because I actually think they're both pretty awesome lads. I'm a Migs fan, but I've enjoyed a lot of Creature's Warp Prism Micro historically, and I've been a big fan of his. But something about just like 7 Phoenixes blowing up to Widowmines is that's just a special sight. But yeah, you mentioned it. Creature has just played a great macro game so far. Vindicta, his 3rd command center was very late. Like, he was rather committed off 2.5 bases. Now he's supply blocked at 141. He has to drop the depot top hat. This is starting to get a little bit ugly in terms of the supply.
And look at what Creature's doing. Moon Dance is a map that is a very quick rush distance, natural to natural 31 seconds, which is faster even than, say, Waterfall. But it's also very much a map that you go to when it's the summer and it's nice hot out. You would just want to go camping. So it means, I mean, summer, baseball, camping, it works out. One is, I want the big explosion. It's 1 steadfast. That's like you go, your base is loaded, no outs, and then someone goes for a bunt, and there's a put out at home. So yes, everyone runs around the bases, but like nothing really happens.
Yeah, we need that big wombo combo on the Widowmines, all of them hitting at once. Creature
there we go.
Lose another Phoenix there.
It's getting better.
Yeah.
Oh,
mothership. Oh, mama ship coming in. Big Mama's house.
I really thought that was going to be for carriers.
Yeah, so did I, but it's only one Stargate, and I was wondering when I didn't see a second Stargate come down. I think at the very least you want to get 2 additional Stargates so you can get up into those additional carriers. He's got the pretty great economy for it. Even though it's 74 probes, you know, not like 85 or even 90 probes, he is still on 10 gases now. Hasn't started mining from them, but like that is a lot of gas mining and a lot of potential tech.
Oh, it really, the creature is literally rolling in the dough. He's the, from the DuckTales, you know, Scrooge McDuck goes and dives into the money pit. That is exactly what creature is right now. And Vindicta, again, I'm going to pull up the income graph. Vindicta for the last 5 minutes has been down by somewhere between 500 to 1,000 resources per minute. That is not where you expect a Terran to be in this game state. Zealots, they get a couple SCVs, but most importantly, they scout it. There's a 4th base. But Steadfast, I want to go back to what I was talking about at the start of this game. Vindicta, this is now his wheelhouse. We're past 10 minutes. He's on 4 bases. He's got maxed out here. It was a slog. He has not had a good first 10 minutes, but this is where he arguably is going to be a little bit more comfortable. Disruptor shot is going to get targeted down. Great EMPs on top of everything. Now the Phoenix are dead. And Vindicta continues to roll on forward. Importantly, we got to point out here, most of his Widow Mines, they did not fire. But there we go, with the Mothership joining the fray, friendly fire on a couple Widow Mines, but finally the Widow Mines, they got some massive shots there, but not enough to allow Vindicta to push forward.
No, creature really stumbled into that engagement. I don't think he realized where Vindicta's army was, and he ended up losing a couple of big power units at the very kickoff. Those Archons, those Disruptors. Moat loses. Well, our Dream is dead. He's lost all his Phoenixes at this point. That means no massive splash damage coming on in. And even though things have been going well for creature, Vindicta, the first time they fight with the big maxed out armies, it's way better for the Terran player. He takes a way better fight. Now, granted, once again, that was creature. It felt like he got caught flat-footed. I haven't seen a push like this, by the way, like ever versus Terran, with just a Mothership and then a huge ground army. He even has Storm. This is a strange composition.
I'm not sure how good it is because EMP reveals cloaked units and Terrans have scans. So from both of those perspectives, it does not strike me as the most powerful thing, but who knows? Creature may teach us something, but the Widow Mine field goes up. And in fairness, Widow Mines also kind of running out of, well, as there's no detection, Widow Mines will continue to do things. Technically, their time on the map should be done. Disruptors are out, Colossus are out, they all outrange the Widow Mine, but if you're a creature and you're just intent on eating those Widow Mines, because they're tasty apparently, it's a little bit of a problem. But now Steadfast, creature is moving into the carrier tech. 2nd, 3rd Stargates are on the way, +1 air, adding shields for the interceptors. Finally, he's transitioning a little bit. And that is where, at this point, we got to ask ourselves how creature's going to trade this army out so we can build supply to get all those carriers or those Tempests or whatever he wants to go for. Because it's not simple to take a fight that is non-committal, especially into Vindicta here.
Yeah, and he does have, oh my, I was just going to say, he's got an army that is very vulnerable to EMPs, and just as it happens, eats a pretty big EMP that hits like, like 40% of the army, doesn't quite get to High Templar. But Vindicta should be looking for those. Speaking of trading out supply, we got Vindicta with a little hit squad on the left side. Looks like he just wants to trade out some of these Marines. Another Widow Mine is going to hit. Oh, terrible positioning right here from creature. He gets split up by the map. Fortunately for him, only loses 1 Colossus, but he does get EMP'd on a couple of the High Templar. That means they are now basically just paperweights. Creature does have some free supply with which to warp in, but Vindicta is going to be able to step into this. He'll actually deny some of the warp-ins, and this is actually going to cause so much damage.
Yeah, two Zealots Steadfast are pretty much worse than 0 Zealots because they will both die. They will not defend anything, and then you're short 200 minerals. But Zealots warp in the main base, and they should eventually knock this down. The Zealots, or the Marines, not really targeting anything at this point. So creature loses 13 probes. He loses damage on his Nexus, but importantly, we saw the Robo, I believe, depowered. A lot of stack defense does go down. And now you have all these Zealots. That was I think more Zealots than creature needed to warp in there. Yes. So now you have a lot of Zealots that are kind of useless, as Vindicta is now really rounding out his tech. He's got his armor upgrade, because he did pull up Yun there and kind of slow down his armor upgrade a little bit, but he's got his vehicular armor up. And importantly, I don't know how important it's going to be, actually, he's even got whatever that's called. He's got medevac boost upgrade on the way, which, as I found out recently, it also makes the base medevac speed much quicker than it normally is.
It's actually such a yoked upgrade. It's so good. I believe it is rapid reignition systems.
Yes, that sounds right.
I think. Yeah. We also are going to have a sensor tower finishing up momentarily here. Missile turrets will provide detection for this army. 2 of the 3 of them do go down, but you only need 1 to actually see everything. He's got those +2 liberators with the range, which is going to mean trying to push into this is extremely difficult. Creature, his resources lost is almost double that of his opponent at this point. And when you see our first nuke on the way, Creature does respond quickly, but this is going to be a nuisance. Vindicta, he's going to knock out at least a little bit of static defense. He is going for an EMP, gets all the High Templar. He's going to knock out the shields on the mothership, and I think he's just going to kill this mothership instantly. Minus 400 coming on in. Another EMP to make sure those High Templar can't regenerate any energy or shields. And Vindicta, if he just sets up Liberators behind, yeah, right here, he is going to lock Creature out of his own base. Creature, his tech is forfeit if he doesn't recall.
Oh, and the nuke on top of things as well. So he's recalling where is he? Okay, recall
right
the natural, I guess. But Liberator's already on top of that. So Colossus starting to fall here. Vikings as well. Zealots looking to jump on in. And here come the Vikings onto the ground. Creature is getting absolutely slammed on Moondance. And we talked about how Vindicta is a master of the late game. It is where he is comfortable. It is where his bread is buttered. It is where all these other things, it's where he makes his bacon. I don't know. Certainly, though, he is stomping Creature in this game. And despite Creature having a massive bank, well, he's lost his ability to swim in it.
You got to look at the battle report for that one. That is one of the most one-sided battles I have ever seen. 5-1 in terms of efficiency right there. Creature killed nothing. Vindicta's supply never dipped below 190 during that fight. He murdered Creature's army there. Creature, with the recall, he's like, oh, I'm going to hit this army from 2 sides. And Vindicta's like, yeah? Through 6 liberation zones? And the answer was absolutely the hell not. Vindicta murdered Creature in that late game. Absolutely annihilated him.
That was brutal, Steadfast. I think is the best way to say. That was honestly kind of disgusting that we saw happen right there. And it's really frustrating if you were a Creator fan, because that was a game where Creature was in a fantastic spot. His Phoenix were able to avoid dying, and I'm still very sad that we didn't have all 6 explode into 1 Widowmine. I needed it. Every cell in my body was vibrating with the need, and then it didn't happen. But in general, he was in a great spot. Vindicta put himself woefully far behind from his opening that got no damage done. But you put Vindicta past 10 minutes against a Protoss player that's not like GSL caliber, he's probably going to win that.
He is comfortable. He is comfortable. He is strong with that setup. And Creature, I mean, he tried to wiggle his way out of it. He tried to recall into the natural, and it could not have been a worse decision. If he had recalled into his back base, I think it would have been not so bad. But the Liberators murked the entire army. I don't think I've seen such a one-sided fight like that in a pro game. I don't know that I've ever seen a maxed out Terran army take down a maxed out Protoss army like that, where the Terran doesn't lose at least, like 30 supply.
Yeah, I think I have, but I think those were specifically Vindicta playing against a Protoss, like a mid-tier North American Protoss player. Like this exact scenario almost. I mean, maybe not how we got there, but in part it is. Terran players don't play like this. They don't try to sandbag it out as much. They want to be active the entire time. They don't want to they don't want to put themselves in a situation where they have to run into the death ball, because that is so scary.
Players that aren't named Milky Cow.
Okay, that's fair. I don't even know that I say Milky Cow. Milky Cow, in my mind at least, is just very much this momentum Terran, where he just starts running and running and running into your face, and he cracks you or he doesn't. But maybe Milky Cow has changed since I've last seen him play.
He's got a few styles. He likes the Armory Widowmines with the permacloak into big macro. But he also loves his late game setups.
Oh, okay.
It's options. There's options. He's got the ability to play multiple styles, and we'll have to see if Creature can adapt, if he can try and kill his opponent a little bit earlier on, or if the player in the bottom left is going to be able to deal with that. We're going to be getting into Inside and Out here and now for the Cranky Ducklings. It is the Red Terran player, Vindicta.
In the upper right, folks. In the blue, he played an impeccable first 10 minutes. He lost like a single observer. It was not enough in the end for Root Gaming. It's Creature.
And Creature's already going to mix things up. He's got himself a quick double gas. If I had to guess, this is going to be maybe a Proxy Oracle play. And I hope it is. I think that'd be a nice little move to try and throw a wrench into the cog that is Vindicta's machine. Because once that machine got running, it just ran right the hell over Creature. That was brutal.
Those were some disgusting fights. I think that is probably one of the games, or I should say, one of the greatest banked. How do I say this? That is one of the greatest bank in a losing game that I've seen. I think Creature had like a total of 10,000 resources in the bank. He was like 7K, 4K, and he just couldn't spend it.
Yeah, it didn't matter at all. He got nothing he could do with that. Once he got zoned out of his natural expansion, he needed to either give it up or, pull further back. The problem is if he'd given it up, that's 3 bases, 3 Nexi. Even though they're mostly mined out, that's 3 Nexi. That's his whole main base going down. That's his tech. And even then, he's initiating a base trade while his opponent is already coming in at him. So it's going to be a huge first mover's advantage to Vindicta. Like, it was almost a checkmate position already. But then Creature, like, I think Up a Tree Zelda was describing it to me. It was like, basically, like imagine 2 boxers and one of them sets himself up in a position where he's like ready to knock the other guy out, or like he like basically locks him in a corner. And then in order to try and get out of it, the one guy leans into the punch, like leans into a light jab and just like knocks himself out.
Yeah, I'll buy that one. But look at this. We got a bunker at home from Vindicta, but he's also got a bunker on the other side of the map. But the weird thing about this thing, Steadfast, is that is a late Reaper. This was a couple Marines into Reaper play, which is very odd. And it looks like that bunker on the other side will not work out. I'm not exactly sure what Vindicta had in his head for that. At the very least, he will get the scout out. And unfortunately, Steadfast, what you were looking for, I think I would have liked it as well. It will be not happening. It's just a Stargate in the main base. Phoenix play once again. And Phoenix play against Vindicta, if he wants to go Widowmine drops, is great. But
he just wasted a lift and he didn't even get the Reaper.
Only had 1 adept. Yeah.
Oh man. He realized it too once he went for the lift. He's like, wait a minute. My second Phoenix is still a little ways away from finishing up. There's only an adept here. Can I bluff Vindicta into not microing? And Vindicta just pulled the Reaper back and he easily got away. That's so painful. But yeah, sorry, continue your point.
Oh, well, yeah. In terms of, well, okay, yeah, Creature's good at this stage, and he's done the same thing, and he'll be able to shut down this drop, but do you want to go late game against Vindicta? We saw what happened last game.
I mean, you certainly don't want to, but he uses 2 lifts, kill 1 Reaper. And that Reaper saw the Stargate, it saw the Phoenixes, it sees the Robo, which means he's probably going to know that it's Phoenix Colossus. This is already a pretty great situation for Vindicta, I gotta say.
Oh, and he's leaning into the big Gabe push once again. We have Cyclona on the way. Get that medevac, I think. No, just the Viking right now, but I expect to see a medevac soon enough. Maybe he's gonna wait for that. I think that the tech lab there on the starboard. So maybe not actually. Maybe he just goes into a 3-1-1. This is just to deal with the Phoenix play.
Yeah, I know. You can definitely go for a couple of these units. Oh. Looks like 1 SCV does get picked off, but he loses a Phoenix for it. Widowmine. The Widowmine got the shot, and it actually did confirm the kill this time, so that's pretty nice. Widowmine and an SCV for a Phoenix. Every Terran player will take that trade. You're going to be happy to whittle that Phoenix count down. And now maybe this does trigger a light pressure, but I feel like the big tell with a big game push is that you don't get your second and third barracks for a while. You just continue to pump out Vikings usually. You get those Cyclones. You can get a medevac. You don't have to. It's more so you're just really pumping units off of your 1-1-1 setup, and you're really just rallying into it and trying your absolute best to never lose your units, use your Cyclone's lock-ons. Every time they're off cooldown is the big deal, and you never let your opponent get free picks on your units. It requires extremely precise micro, but the execution is beautiful to watch.
Oh no, it really is. And I guess going back to that Widowmine, you know, it's nice. There we go. We got our sack fly out of the way. I'm sorry. You had me in this train of thought. But anyways, yes, I agree. The situation that Vindicta is in is great. It's obviously not going to be the Hero Marine push. Didn't see that second barracks there, but he is just now opening himself up for your standard 3-1-1. Medivacs are on the way. His stim will be done right around 6:45-ish, and with the damage that he has done, as a second Phoenix will go down. You need to keep these Phoenix alive, Steadfast. They are what enables you to take the fight, because it picks up the Marauders, and they pick up the tanks. Not that Vindicta has tanks in this game, but they pick up the tech of the Terran player, and they just make that fight possible. But as these Phoenix continue to fall, there are less lifts, and as there are less lifts, there's going to be a lot more damage on the Colossus on this game. But nice pickup on the backside. The Phoenix, they are starting to find a little bit as Creature plays a little more laissez-faire with them.
Okay, so this is a big moment for Creature. He needs to recognize that there was so few Marines with that army. Vindicta loaded up for a double drop on the right side. This was always Vindicta's plan here, is he wants to represent threat on one side while he comes in. There's not a lot of units for the Protoss. The Phoenixes can't prevent these from unloading. Oh, can he deny this Colossus? Oh! Yes, he can. And extend the thermal lance. 7.1 seconds left. The Phoenixes are going to try and deal with this. Oh, no target fire on the Phoenixes, so he actually doesn't get as good a trades as he should have been able to. Still picks off 2 of those Phoenixes. And now at the third base, battery overcharge has been popped, but there's no units. There's the Widowmines coming on in. He gets 2 more of the Phoenixes right here, and while Creature will save most of his probes, he is going to lose a lot of valuable tech units. He loses that Immortal at the end. Creature loses a lot of time on this Colossus production. Vindicta, he's not done. He's going to keep rallying forward.
Man,
is he?
Looks like he's going to consolidate his forces and maybe go with a second set, I guess. But imagine if that drop had Marauders in it, Steadfast. The Robo Bay would be dead. The Robo Facility would also be dead. So instead of having Colossus and Extended Thermal Lance finally finish up, Creature would be even further behind. But as it stands, that was a solid minute and a half, 2 minutes, where he did not have that crucial upgrade on the Colossus, and he just did not have another Colossus on the way. So Vindicta puts himself, I'm not going to say miles ahead, but furlongs, maybe. Hundreds of feet ahead.
Hundreds of feet. Dozens of
yards.
Washing machines ahead.
How many football fields? Because we are in NA now.
Football or football? Haha. I will say Vindicta could have gotten potentially even more done with that drop if he had been focusing a little bit on it. He could have targeted down every single Phoenix as it ran at him, and then lifted up, gotten away from the Colossus. He wouldn't have been able to, delay Extended Thermal Lance, delay the Colossus production, but he could have gotten himself miles ahead. Now, it's difficult to execute. That is, I'm being nitpicky when he's doing amazing moves here, but it's things that he could have done to just get a little bit more done. Now he is continuing to keep this split push alive. Ooh, the Widowmine's actually friendly firing a lot there. Still going to find so many probes. He will rush into the natural, and actually Creature, I don't think he can defend right now necessarily.
I mean, Shield Battery Overcharge is nice to keep those Zealots around for a little bit, and nice pickup there on the Disruptor. Make sure that it doesn't get as much as it possibly could have. But these Colossus on the high ground are not something that Vindicta is dealing with super well, as the Widowmines kill all the Stalkers, or I guess almost all of the Stalkers. So Creature's doing a decent job given the really poor hand that he has really been dealt. But unfortunately, at the end of the day, sometimes it doesn't matter how well you play your hand, you still have to fold. And that seems to be where Creature is at this point. He's down about 50 supply now. Down briefly half the army supply. Vindicta has 1-1. No upgrades for Creature. But there will be 4 Colossus. And 4 Colossus, if your army is not together, that can shred things.
Yeah, but I mean, as long as Vindicta doesn't rush headlong into them, basically with those Marines in the front, this army should be able to deal with that. He's going to scan. He's going to see, okay, you got your 4 Colossus here. I would love another, yeah, there it is, double drop into the main base. This time it will once again be all Marines. Same as the last one, funnily enough, not actually filling the medevacs out entirely. There is still 1 spot free. These 2 Phoenixes are not going to be enough to prevent this from unloading. And if Vindicta just sets up to go into the natural once again, or even into the third, while this drop comes in, Creature is not going to have enough. And look at this. He assumes that there's a big frontal push, pulls the Phoenixes back, and that means no time to react to this drop. It is just going to show up and start shredding probes.
Oh, yeah, there's really not. Creature, he has enough army to maybe, he has enough supply to maybe fight one army. He does not have enough supply to fight two armies. The Phoenix, they dive in, and finally, Setfast, you get your wish. The Marines, they do kill them off, but they also deny +2. So if there was anything that Creature had, maybe he was going to be able to pin his hat on the eventual upgrade parity, because +2 wasn't too far off. But now that that is dead, it's just another nail in an already hammered coffin. As these Marines, the natural disruptor shot. Well, no, Vindicta's on top of that. He picks up he barely loses anything. And this is Creature. He's trying to do the whole bend but don't break, but he's practice showing he's broken.
Yeah, you mentioned it. It really is those Colossus just keeping him alive. But now Creature shows that the Colossus are far into the main base, and Vindicta is just going to gun down the Nexus. Creature knows he can't save it. He won't be able to stay on 3 bases, and Vindicta